in the wilderness for 40 days, right? He came out in the consciousness of holy breath once he turned down the carnal food. Because he was on a spiritual mission to purify his mind. That's why he was talking to himself, right? It was no devil with no pitchfork. He was talking to the lower part of his soul, was thirsting after knowledge, and it thirsted so much that it will go to the ends of the earth to find it, to experience it. It's not evil, right? It's just thirsty. Like we do when we get thirsty, we do some things that we shouldn't do when we're thirsty. When the soul is thirsty after truth, it will go after it by any means necessary. And when Jesus went into the wilderness for 40 days to purify himself, thus purifying his mind, he turned down the carnal food because he knew that was going to contaminate his mind at the time. I'm not saying that because I'm not saying we ain't going to eat this nice food in the cut over here in the side, Islam. But what I'm saying is this. You must get this food before you get the carnal food. Islam? We are here to gain control over our minds. That is Islam. Islam is a state of mind. It ain't rituals. It ain't rites. It ain't what you wear. It ain't what you say. Islam is a state of mind, an Islamic state of mind. And so you're here to mortify your mind, to subjugate it. If we all suffer from mental slavery, that means the mind is the master and you are the slave. Right? We all suffer from mental slavery. And believe you me, mental slavery would have never began if we had control over our minds. The European would have never had a chance to take advantage if we had control over our minds. So I give honor. First I give praises to the great God Allah. But I give praises to the great God Allah by giving honor to man. Islam? Y'all with me? Do we give honor to the Prophet over Jew Ali today? Now, I'm looking at the crowd. I don't think so. Y'all look distracted. Y'all distracted? What's going on? Y'all giving praises to Allah and honor to his Prophet today? Islam. Islam. Well, let's give a round of applause for Prophet over Jew Ali. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to show your affection for Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Because showing your affection for the Prophet is showing your affection for yourself. Islam? He put together a dynamic movement. And I always say this, right? This is not just an organization, it's a what? Oh, goodness. Oh my, this is not just an organization, this is a what? This is a movement. A movement. Divine and national. Let me tell you something. The divine part is the national part. Got quiet. The divine part is the national part. It's like the same thing. You got two sides of a quarter. You ain't got two quarters. You got heads and tails. Right? And it's a conjunction. It don't mean add on. Right? It doesn't mean addition. We need to understand grammar. It's a conjunction. Right? We got a constitution and bylaws. That means we got two different sets. Right? Constitution and what? And bylaws. One document. We got a nationality card and an identification card. Do we got two sets? It's not. We got a national and divine movement. Is that two different things? No, it is not two different things because it's part of our religion to have our nationality. It's part of our religion to be a part of politics. It is part of our religion to have ill-obey on our names. It is when you understand that this is part of your religion, you don't have to ask nobody for it. It's your religious right. And anybody who denies you your religious right is called religious persecution. Islam? Stop looking at national and divine as two separate things. That's how they get you. It's one and the same thing. This is a movement. And before I get down off this podium, before they pull my coattails, this movement has a divine force behind it. Y'all hear me? Whether we are here or not, this movement is still going to be moving. Because it's the same force that moved the planets. You hear me? It is the same force that moved the planets. It is the same force that beats your heart. Islam? Islam Moors. Praise be to Allah. Islam Moors, the Moors from Newark, New Jersey. Islam, Temple number 10. For the Hughes Hill Grand Sheep. It is the same movement that beats your heart. It is the same movement that pushes the air in and out your lungs. Do you push the air in and out your lungs? Yes, sir. Or do it automatically? Do y'all hear me? Do you beat your own heart or do it automatically? Islam, are you in charge of this movement or do it automatically? Do you control this movement or do it automatically? Islam, Carter Bey is not controlling this movement, right? Brother Matthews Bey ain't controlling this movement. Pray the Ill ain't controlling this movement. It do it, I know he may think he do, but it do it automatically. And I just want to say, when you reduce it down to its lowest terms, its lowest common denominator, Islam, everything can be reduced. We learned that in school, right? Everything can be reduced down to its lowest common denominator, right? The lowest common denominator is breath. The gospel of the holy breath, Islam, right? You can reduce this movement down to that. Very simple fact. But the breath, the individual breath in itself is so powerful, it's more powerful than what you think it is. Inside this earth, or on this earth, you have wind. Y'all with me? Are you with me? You have wind. Do anybody know where wind comes from? The wind comes from your very breath. See, there is no more wind that's being escorted inside the earth from space. All the wind that we have on earth is right here in this atmosphere. You don't generate no more wind. The wind is already in this globe called earth, right? But the air that we call wind that creates tsunamis is caused by your own very breath. When we collectively breathe together, that's what caused the atmosphere to move. That's how powerful one breath is. That it causes great tornadoes and hurricanes. Do not underestimate your breath. Now, what happens if we all breathe collectively? What happens if we all move together in this movement and stop moving separately? What happens when we start thinking together? Islam, when this movement was created, it was one force. One unifying force. You cannot leave. We can't leave here today without talking about what it would be like if we were one group, one force again. We wouldn't be honoring the prophet's birthday if we didn't take time to talk about how it would be if we all came under one force, one movement again. Look, it's good to come together. It's good to break bread together. It's good to be friendly to each other while we're here in this meeting. But it's even better if we all unified and we all doing the same thing, moving in the same direction. We have 7 actions called 7 acts. Right? The reason why we have those actions is because the prophet needed us to all be moving in the same direction in the same time. If you're moving in the opposite direction of these 7 acts, then you're not a part of the movement. You're doing something else. Islam? We all need to be vibrating on the same wavelength. And everybody in here, you know you feel the vibration. You know it's time. You know it's time. And this right here is more important than dancing and eating food. Because our children and babies are dying. That's right. Because the Moorish Science Temple of America is not doing what it needs to be done. What needs to be done. And that's come together. This country is not going to get right until we get right. Islam, we have been morphed in this government. We are a part and parcel of this government, which means that we are an intricate part of the government that cannot be removed or denied. Which means that if you extract the Moors from this government, if you extract this movement from this government will cease to exist as we know it. That's what part and parcel means. It doesn't mean we're separate. It means that this government is our government. And they cannot exist without you. And with that being said, let me go ahead and let us eat. Praise be. I want to thank the Moors for coming out and being here and being a part of this. All the Moors who came up and who always support us with every event that we do. Islam, Brother Pray the Hill. Right? That's right, Mo. And all the members, I give honor to the members of Baltimore, Temple number 13, that everything we do, they're there for us. Islam? Islam. Everything. I don't care what we doing. If I say, Brother Pray the Hill, we doing a bar mitzvah next week, he gonna be there. He might not agree with it, but he gonna be there. He gonna be telling us we don't need to be doing the bar mitzvah, but he gonna be there. Islam? Praise be to Allah, honor, love, peace and love.